Guys, welcome back. The Springbok squad's been announced for the game against Argentina. The Boks are going to go through, obviously, play in Santiago. Argentina are now with 10 points on the Rugby Championship log, 8 behind the Springboks. The Springboks win in Santiago. They'll wrap up the entire Rugby Championship before they play the last game in Nelspruit. So it's going to be a huge game. It's a massive game. And Argentina, after their massive win over Australia, are certainly going to be tough opposition. They're going to have the chomping at the bit. They've got a chance to still win the rugby championship. They'll be in their own backyard. They've got extremely passionate fans, yeah, we're going to see them. I reckon come out firing against the Boks. Yeah, so Rassie's gone, and they've had a couple of days off. The team will reassemble in the next day or so in Stellenbosch for a last bit of training before they leave for Argentina. But it's going to be interesting just to see what they've chosen and who will eventually play. Of course, they've left 7 players to be rested, and we'll have a look at them right now. So the 7 players who won't be travelling to Argentina are Bongi Mbonambi, Frans Malherbe, Peter Steph du Toit, Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu, Damien de Lende, Cheslin Colby, and Willie Leroux. So, yeah, interesting. You can expect those players to all be playing in Nelspruit. The Boks will bring them back, I think, as part of that squad. But they did say, Rassie did say on Saturday he was going to select 2 different squads. And the guys who wouldn't be over there, there's probably a couple more as well that we haven't factored into the squad that will be training here in South Africa. But for the majority of those guys, the 28 other players that have gone through to Argentina, they'll all be involved in one or other way. There are, of course, caveats. You have to keep an extra hooker and an extra scrum off, and probably an extra backline player, just to make sure that you got enough in case there's an injury while you're away. But it's a 1 week trip. I think they feel they've probably got enough cover in all aspects there. So just looking at these though, all these players have had put in quite a big workload over the last while. Bongi Mbonambi obviously had a huge workload the last couple of weeks. Frans Malherbe has been playing as well. Peter Steph du Toit, well, he deserves a rest big time. Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu has been getting a lot of game time in the last couple of weeks. Damien de Lender's obviously had a lot of work and he was the man of the match on Saturday. Cheslin Colby was everywhere. He's now playing, he throws in the lineouts. He's at the rucks as well. And Willie Leroux hasn't had so much of a workload, but they did say they were going to be managing his time in these next few weeks. Rassie has already spoken in the past about Vidi knowing that his role in the squad is to help younger players come through. They want to get him to the 100th game, and I'm sure he'll play Nelspruit as well. But yeah, he knows his role now is very different to what it was in the past. So, with that in mind, let's go through what the squad exactly was, what squad was chosen, and then I'll go right at the end who I think might be. I'll discuss what I think the team might be in the coming weeks. So, it should be quite interesting to see how they do this. But it also gives us an indication of how they're going to play at Nelspruit. I think the fact that they're sending such a large contingent of the current squad through to Santiago and not resting most of them tells me that they really want to wrap up the rugby championship this weekend. So let's have a look at the squad, and you'll see it's quite a serious squad that's been picked. Starting off with the props that were picked, quite interestingly, Thomas du Toit, Vincent Koch, Oxenchair, and Gerard Steenekamp. Now, if you look at that, all very familiar faces for the Boks. I think the interesting thing was they decided not to take Stephen Kitsoff with. Yeah, I suppose they feel they don't really need him there. He can play his way back into contention and he can start the URC, not worrying about going into international duty. Of course, Gerard Steenekamp has been a revelation for me in the Bok jersey. Oxenchair is unparalleled at the moment. Yeah, he's unrivaled. He is the number one loosehead at the moment. Vincent Koch has done some sterling work. He did a lot of good carries at the end of the games against the All Blacks as well. And Thomas du Toit, well, he had a great season for Bath as well. So hard to argue with any of these. And with Frans Malherbe already out resting, it's quite understandable that they've gone for these guys. But just interesting to see that Kitsoff is not there. Onto the hookers, you can see Johan Krobelaar is in there, Malcolm Marx. The fact that they've rested Bongi tells you quite a bit about how they want to play. I would expect maybe Malcolm Marx to start. I suppose we'll see that when it comes to the team selection. How serious are they about winning the rugby championship? If Malcolm Marx starts, that's an indication to me that they really want to wrap it up. Otherwise, if they're carrying on with the sort of blooding of young players, I expect Johan Krobelaar to start and Malcolm Marx to be on the bench again. But yeah, as I say, if Marx is on in the starting lineup, well, I think that's an indication of just how seriously they take it. Of course, Jan Hendrik Wessels continuing as the utility forward with the team at the moment. Can play prop and hooker, and that's why he's on the tour as well. I'm not sure I expect him to play. I'd be surprised if he does play, though. Then we get to locks, and I mean, yeah, the Springboks have had a bit of a crisis over the last while as well. If you think of the likes of Louis de Jager, Franco Mostert, Erkje Snyman, John Klein, all out with injuries as well. Yeah, they've had some guys cover them as well. But Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg has been in the squad now for a couple of weeks. They like to keep players coming into the squad for a few weeks before they give them a chance to play. I expect Salman Marat to be back, maybe in the starting line. It'll be interesting to see if he's in the starting lineup. Sia is at loose forward, so I expect Sia to still lead them, so I'm not sure he'll be there as captain. And when you look at the five locks, Ron Nokia and Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg, I expect Ron Nokia, after he did a reasonably good job against the All Blacks, he was under a lot of fire there. I expect him to continue in the number 5. And then it's just a question, do you take Etzebeth again? If you're going to wrap up the rugby championship, you take Eben Etzebeth and you start him. If you're looking still to carry on with your plans of expanding the squad, well then you play Salman Marat and you leave Eben on the bench. I don't think you lose too much, but obviously you gain a lot more if Eben is there. So I expect Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg to probably be on the bench. He's versatile. He can add a lot from the bench, and I expect to see him there. Some interesting ones in the loose forwards. Of course, we're not used to not seeing Peter Steph du Toit's name there. He's normally the banker there. But if you look at it, Sia Kolisi is there, Ben Jason Dixon, Elric Lowe, Kwagga Smith, Marco van Staal, and Jasper Visser. Now, my sense is probably that is an indication Sia will lead the team. I don't think that's a massive leap from where we are. I would expect somebody like Jasper Visser and Elric Lowe would compete for the number 8 spot. And then at 7, Ben Jason Dixon, I think, would have that one wrapped up. He's a more natural 7 than the others, although Elric has played 7 quite a bit for the Bulls as well. You might see him there. Kwagga could also slot in there. Marco van Staden, of course, is an unofficial 4th hooker as well for the team on this trip. But I expect if Sia's going to start, then I expect you probably see Kwagga and Marco on the bench. Jasper starting and Ben Jason as the other flanker and Elric probably on the bench. That depends if they go on a 6-2. If they go on a 5-3, then I think somebody like Marco or Elric might lose out. But if they go for a 6-2, then I think we could see probably 2 or 3 loose forwards there. Of course, Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg can also play loose forward. So it'd be interesting to see how they go there. I think they've got enough cover at loose forward, as they always seem to do. So that shouldn't really be surprising to any of us. The scrum halves, well, this is an interesting one, of course. I think, yeah, you can read a lot of things into this and maybe be totally wrong. Grant Williams has always been around. He started against the All Blacks. I think he probably might get another run as well. Kobus Reinach suits Tony Brown's game plan very well, so I wouldn't be surprised if he even starts as well. Again, I think it would be an indication of how seriously they want to wrap this up. Jaden Hendricks came back, did very good work in the second half. And you might even see him starting. I think that we might see that as well. Of course, it depends what type of game plan they want to play and how they see the conditions over there. But yeah, I can see any of these 3 starting, and I don't think the Boks will be disadvantaged if any of them start. Just 2 fly-offs in the squad as well. Of course, yeah, you've got some other players who can fill in as well. Andre Pollard, the most experienced guy. Are they going to carry on using him off the reserves bench? If so, that means Manie Lebok will start. Manie hasn't started for a while. But I think the fact that he's selected is an indication he's going to get quite a bit of game time. I wouldn't be surprised if he played, but if it was up to me, I'd probably go with Pollard. But I suppose at the end of the day, Marnie was in their World Cup team. Is very much an attacking fly-off, and they believe he can probably do the job against Argentina as well. Yeah, I don't think there's any worries around that one. I think people have understood the way Marnie plays, and I think just Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu has probably surpassed him in the pecking order, but it doesn't mean Marnie is a bad player. Marnie's very much a confidence player, so I would definitely give him a run in Argentina. But if you're looking to sew it up, there's nothing wrong with starting Andre either. Then moving into the midfield, just two centres chosen. Damien Delenda left at home, of course, and for a well-earned rest. Lucanio who deserves game time. He's really been good when he's come onto the field as well. Quality player. Jesse Krill is just quality as well. I think that's an indication those two will start in the midfield. Of course, they have Kane Moody as the utility back on standby as well to play if needed, and I think they feel they could probably fill that. Andre can also play at 12 if they need to, but I'm not sure we're going to see that. I'd be surprised. Of course, the box can surprise us, and they often do. So, but I think just looking at this is a very solid, probably the most solid midfield combination, whether it's Ducanio, Jesse, or Damien, probably in world rugby at the moment. So I would be very happy if these two are in the midfield. Interesting in the outside backs, as I said, Caden Moody is the utility back, and he can obviously play 15, 14, or 13, so he makes him very valuable. I suppose it comes down to what threats they see in the Argentinian attack. But Curtly Orense coming back from his head knock that kept him out of the All Black test, the second one, he's exceptionally good. Well, yeah, mean, you don't need to really say it. I mean, he's great. But the fact that Apelele Fassi's been chosen, I think that's an indication he will play against Argentina. At fullback, Makazole, Mapimpi, and Curtly could be the wings. They should be the wings. I think Kanan's got a shout in there as well. But I think, knowing the way Rassie thinks, probably I'd say Makazole's got a good chance of starting that test along with Orense. So that would make a very good back three. I think any of those four players coming to the back three, nobody's really going to complain. They both all got strike power, and the way Apelele Fassi played against New Zealand at the Spark, I think there's really a sense that he needs to come through now. They need to back him. They need to give him more game time. And I think that's what we'll see when they get to Santiago. As I said, a possible team that I thought, of course, it's up in the air. This is just looking at the team, and we have been wrong in the past, and Rassie has surprised us all a number of times in the past. But just looking at that, I'd expect Apelele Fassi to be at the back, Curtly, and Makazole to be the wings, Jesse and Lucanio in the back line, Andre and Jaden, or I think it could be Marnie and Grant. I suppose that's very much a possibility. But that would be my backline. Exceptionally good backline. That Jasper Wiese at 8, I think he will get that spot ahead of Elrich. Ben Jason Dixon, at 7, Rassie has said he'll be back, and the fact that he's selected, and he's the only genuine 7, they'll want him to do the role that Peter Steff did. Sia will lead the team as normal. I thought Ruan Nakia will carry on growing in the 5 role. Eben would be my choice for 4, although I wouldn't be surprised if they do put Salman Murat on and put Eben on the bench. Vincent Koch and Oxen Che, Malcolm Marx, they scrum together as a unit, mostly off the bench. When they get together, some of them come off the bench, but the box interchange their front row so much. It doesn't really matter, but I think that will probably be the front row combination, which means I would think Johan Krobler would be the backup hooker, Gerard Steenekamp would be the backup prop, Thomas du Toit, that's the backup front row, Salman Murat and Marco van Staal and Elrich Low, that would be my 6-2. But I mean, you can understand if they do go 5-3 and they maybe put, Marnie Lebok somewhere on there. But yeah, or Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg. There's so many options. All 28 of those players can play. So a very interesting team squad selected by Rassie. Of course, they'll have a couple of days off before they'll head to Santiago. It's a late night game in South Africa, 11 o'clock kickoff. So be ready for that one. All the energy drinks or coffee that you need when that comes about. And we'll be doing a lot more of these videos as well. Got a lot of positive feedback from the chats this weekend, and hoping to do a lot more. So tell me what you think. Who do you think should be in? Who do you think should have missed out? But I must admit, I thought Cameron Hanekom might have got a shout, but maybe it's the same reason Steven Kitshoff is not in, because he just hasn't played enough rugby since his injury. Maybe they feel that he needs to play a couple of games first, and then he can come in for the end of the year tour. But I think he's going to be knocking hard on the door as well. But yeah, not in this team as well. I suppose there's a couple of others I might have missed somebody. If I have missed somebody that you feel should have been in, let me know. Of course, you're going off the glances. You don't always remember every single name that's in the squad. But it's been fun chatting to you. Let me know in the comments if you haven't already. Please smash that subscribe button. It's always good hearing from you guys. And until the next time, yeah, this is a great Springbok squad. Go Boks.